On July 31st, 1790, a quiet man from Vermont named Samuel Hopkins walked into a world that was about to change forever. He wasn't just carrying a new idea, he was carrying a document that would become the cornerstone of American ingenuity, U.S. Patent Number 1. At the time, the United States was a fledgling nation, barely a decade old, and its leaders knew that for the country to survive, it couldn't just rely on farming, it had to out-innovate the world. The invention itself sounds humble by today's standards, a new process for making potash and pearlash. In the 18th century, however, potash was black gold. It was an essential ingredient used in making soap, glass, and gunpowder, and it was America's biggest industrial export. Hopkins discovered a way to burn the raw wood ashes a second time and increase the yield of the chemicals. It was efficient, it was profitable, and it caught the attention of the highest offices in the land. Imagine the gravity of that first application. This wasn't a digital form sent over the internet, it was a handwritten petition reviewed by the Patent Board, which consisted of the Secretary of State, the Secretary of War, and the Attorney General. Thomas Jefferson, a legendary inventor himself, personally scrutinized Hopkins' method. Once approved, the document was signed by the first President of the United States, George Washington, and the Attorney General, Edmund Randolph. This single piece of parchment did more than protect Hopkins' chemical process. It birthed the American dream of ownership. For the first time in history, a common citizen, not just a nobleman or a king's favorite, could own their intellectual property. This created a gold rush of the mind. Because Hopkins paved the way, the 19th century exploded with the likes of Eli Whitney, Samuel Morse, and Thomas Edison. They all followed the legal trail blazed by a potash maker from Vermont. Today, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has issued over 11 million patents, but they all trace their lineage back to that summer day in 1790. Samuel Hopkins proved that in America, a good idea was worth its weight in gold, and that the government would protect your right to profit from your own brainpower. It's the reason why a garage startup can become a global empire today. It all started with one man, one signature, and the very first patent.